have them checked out. Now, should they be going to a doctor or something like that? Well,
I can't speak for all of them because each and everybody's mind is different. And this is why I encourage everyone to come out and speak and listen to the doctor. Listen to what Dr. Constantine is going to teach you about the signs and symptoms, because it's different for each child. Like I said, my two sons had two different behavioral aspects that I've never been exposed to before. One was obedience and the other one was autism. And I just pretty much had to learn that, okay, I can't discipline AJ and Misha the same way I discipline Ricky and Romel. Because they were come from two different spectrums. I then had to go and do the research and learn about what autism was in depth for me to be able to be a better parent to him, to see him succeeding now and living a normal life in society, and coming from that autism child what used to headbutt and just being social and introverted but brilliant. That's the part that threw us off, is that the fact that he was brilliant, so why was he acting the way he was acting? So it just took us to do the research and therapists to explain what was going through his mind and how his mind functioned. And once I knew that, we were fine.
This has got to be very interesting where this is concerned, because I don't know. I really don't know. But we may have children here on these islands that is acting differently and is being punished, probably. I don't know. They may be being punished for the things that they do, but they didn't do anything wrong. They just do it different to the others.
Right. And I understand, coming from a Virgin Island owner, we don't like to put labels on our children. I know I didn't. I did not like. I did not like that when a doctor told me that my child was autistic. My first reaction was like, how could he be autistic? He's brilliant. He's so smart. He reads so smart. He's only 5 years old and he's already reading books in 6th and 7th grade. He couldn't be autistic. What is that? And that was a normal reaction that you have when you don't want. It's hard to accept as a parent that your child has a label. It's very hard. But you know what? Once you've come to grips, and you have to put yourself out of it. I had to take my selfish needs, my selfish wants and beliefs out for the betterment of my child, and accept the fact that, okay, he has autism, but what can I do as a parent to raise him to be a successful young man in the future? And I had to just dig into my soul, ask God to please guide me along this way. I didn't want to put him on medication. And here it is today. He's 17 years old, going to high school and junior college, living a normal life. And he's been downgraded to Asperger. He's no longer on the autism spectrum. And he's a functioning member of society today. So kudos to him.
And a proud mommy.
A proud mommy.
That's got to be the most wonderful feeling.
I want to know your phone number.
Okay. To reach me on, if you want to reach me on the phone, text me, because I'm really busy today with radio interviews and TV interviews. But you can text me at 407-476-4105. Again, that number is 407-476-4105. And you can also email me at yasinhall@gmail.com. Friend me on Facebook.
Oh, slow down.
Facebook, Yasin Hall, or Journey Untold. I'm going to be on island all the way until October 26th.
Where are you from originally?
Right here.
You from St. Thomas?
Brownie Field Massive.
There you go.
Well, my, you see how you got me? Very fair. Well, sir, you have just gained a lot more friends than not just one of us.
Yes.
For true, because a Virgin Islander, a lot of our people, a lot of our young ladies getting babies and so on. I don't know what's going on, but maybe something is happening that they may not understand, and then, whatever comes, stay.
Well, with my oldest son, the one that has undiagnosed manic depression, because I was so young, and my parents and myself felt that it was best that I go off to college and get my education. Now, you know, you have to have education. To be able to become anybody or to function in life and become successful, you have to have an education. And being 16 and pregnant, I didn't let that stop me from getting an education. But I did something that I didn't know was a trigger for him. I went to school for 4 years and back and forth traveling as much as I can to come see him. But that avoidance from life, like 1 minute I'm here for 1 week and then all of a sudden my mom is gone. And then I come home for about another 2 or 3 weeks to spring break and then I'm gone. That detachment from me constantly leaving and coming, it set something off in him. It really did.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand it now because that's what happened to me with my mom. When my mom went through her psychosis and no longer became my mother, that set off, like I said, trauma. The trauma of me leaving all the time and coming back confused my son to where he felt displaced.
Mm-hmm.
And those are all signs and symptoms that started to progress over time to where he began to feel like he was an unwanted child. And that was not the case at all. He was definitely wanted, he was definitely loved, but the constant going back and forth caused a separation anxiety. And that separation anxiety led to depression anxiety disorder, that led to depression, that now led to manic depression. So had I known earlier and I had known the signs, but I was so focused on getting my education and I wasn't around to notice the signs, I didn't know to get help sooner.
Well, you have opened up a lot of eyes and ears today, I believe sincerely, you know, because there is help for a lot of people, but they may not realize it.
Yes.
They may not realize it, that they can get help and so on and on. And will I get the opportunity of having you sit down in one of my chairs again?
Yes, you sure can, absolutely. And I'm going to give you a copy of my book so you can read the story as well.
I hope you don't have big words in it because I can only read small words. Big words, I very much. But this is so interesting and important. And God's real life, I want to see you again. I want you to come down and we're going to chat some more.
Yes.
And then have more people ask questions and so on because obviously I've seen little things around and I just didn't pay any attention to it, you know. But hearing you now, then it's opening my eyes to what I've seen, and then they may not be getting the help that they need because of their attitude or the style of doing things.
Or they just don't believe that, you know, maybe it's just this. I mean, because I said it too. Maybe I just have, because when I was going to school, learning was hard for me. Even though I was graduated top honors from Charles Hamlin High School, learning, I had to learn a whole new way of how to learn. And I didn't know then that it was ADD because there was no title then. I learned this as an adult. But, you know, for me to memorize my schoolwork, I had to play music in my ear in the background. And let me tell you, this is going to freak you out. This is how I remembered the information to test. So let's say, for instance, the information was about, the test was about Christopher Columbus. And I had to know that Christopher Columbus in 1492 discovered the Virgin Islands, because that's what the book says. But that's a whole other...
The whole thing right there.
Yeah. So I had to remember 3 components. Christopher Columbus, what he did, and what the year. That was difficult for me to remember. So when I played my Bob Marley songs and I took my test, I remembered what part of Bob Marley's song came on when I read the paragraph about Christopher Columbus in 1492.
Christopher Columbus.
So it's a different form of learning, you know?
That got to be the best.
Yeah, and it's still the same today. Like, for instance, I had to remember that Dr. Vincentia Constantine came from Atlanta, and she has a PhD in philosophy, and that she is a certified special needs expert. Now get this. This is how I had to remember her. Okay, Dr. Vincentia Constantine has a name that starts from Vincent. So I had to remember that the Vincent is a boy, but she's the girl Vincentia.
Send her.
And that for me to remember that she is in philosophy, I had to remember that Bob Marley is a philosopher. And then I also had to remember that she teaches special ed students, so that's how I know that she's an expert in special ed.
Christopher Columbus.
That's yes. I learned by association, and that to this day, that's still how I learn.
Well, madam, I would like to talk to you again. And this is very, very interesting. And thank you for gracing this program with your presence.
You're
my
welcome.
dear.
No, the present of mine. I get to
You want to fight?
myself with the election.
You're not coming in the morning.
And thank you again, my dear.
Thank you.
If you plan to come, I would like you to come say whenever, around 10 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, we can
because
try
I'd have a
that.
couple hours to chat with you. This is very important because I think a lot of people have just learned something about their own children that they may not have realized was happening, because there's nothing wrong with the kids. It's just that they may be a little different. Even they come from the same mother and father, could be a little different. You
Special.
see?
They're special.
And okay. Special.
They're very good. I would actually love to come on the air with Dr. Vincenta Constantine so that if anyone has any more in-depth questions about how the mind functions and how it works and what to ask the questions, she can actually come from the clinician point of
Wonderful,
view.
wonderful.
So we're going to try and work it out so I can have myself and her on the air.
Wonderful.
Yes.
And you're both welcome.
Thank you.
And thank you, my dear.
It's all mine. The pleasure is all mine.
And she have a nice smile too. And how many kids you have now?
I have 4.
14?
No,
4.
4. Well, I almost got a heart attack. I have 4.
Congratulations. 4.
4.
Remember to 4 to come to feel you from,
I have 4.
We got 4. Thank you again, my dear, okay?
You're welcome.
And the best of luck to you. We're going to